What's up, guys? Welcome back to Gatmeyer Flies. Today we're going to tie a balanced leech. Alright guys, it's been a while since I posted a video, but I had a request recently for this one. I tie these in brown, tan, black, and also olive. If you guys want to see me tie them in any of the other colors, leave it down in the comments and let me know. But we're starting with the jig hook, firehole 551 size 8. 10s and 12s work great as well. For thread, we're using Semperfli wax thread in 12/0. This is rust colored. And I'm going to get that started right here on the hook. Get a nice little thread base put down. Also, if you want to stick around to the end of the video, I'll talk about some of the ways that I actually fish this fly as well. So come down to the bend and back up. So for beads, you're going to want to use tungsten on this guy. For this one, we're going to use a fire orange firehole stone, size 10 to 14 on this one. And then we need a sequin pin. I bought these ones at Walmart for $4. I'll show you what they look like. Let's get a good one here. Sometimes the little heads on them are kind of small, but I've had this box of them. There's still probably 100 of them in here or more. And I've had it for like 2 years. I've tied who knows how many of these. So it's a good investment. You can also get them at Hobby Lobby as well. All right. So I'm just gonna take the bead and put it on the sequin pin like so. And then we will put this on here. I want this about yay far, kind of out over that hook eye. And then I'm going to start tying this down with some really nice tight wraps. Just like so. And then we'll come up over this pin a little bit so that in the end, when we're tying up around the head, we're not just tying straight down to that pin with our materials. And be careful with the back of the pin, it's sharp. Now before we tie in the tail or anything, I am gonna super glue this whole assembly together with just a little bit of super glue on each side. That'll keep that pin from coming out of there. I'll actually run another layer of thread just right up over the top of that, all the way to the front and all the way back to the back, just like so. So there you go. That's the underbody. For a tail, we're using marabou. This is just some strung brown marabou. This one actually has kind of a cool reddish tint to it. I don't know if you can see that. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull some from the side, just like so, and then pull that off away from the stem. And I want a pretty nice sparse tail here, nice and sparse. And I'm gonna measure it. Let's see if we can straighten that bottom piece up. There we go. I'm gonna measure it about 1.5 times the length of the total body and tie it in. I want it long enough that it's gonna move around good, but not so long that fish are gonna be short striking it. Kind of a happy medium there. Clean this up just a little. It's not gonna matter that much because I'm gonna have dubbing going over it, but crank that all down. Now let me show you a few different dubbings that I like for my brown leeches. I've got reddish brown semi-seal. That's a really good one. Canadian brown semi-seal. That one's got like some yellows and blues and reds and stuff in it. It's pretty cool. And then this Arizona diamond dub in dark chocolate. We're gonna use this one. I really like this one. It's a good dark brown color, and it has like some dark flash in it. And we're gonna make a nice kind of skinny body here, and I'll show you why we're gonna do that. But all we're gonna do is just make a regular old dubbing noodle and start wrapping that on all the way up to the bend for the hook eye there. So now we just have kind of a skinny body, and we're gonna make a dubbing loop right here. So once around, then we'll come around the loop twice to close the loop off, and then we'll bring that all the way forward. There we go. Now I need my dubbing twister. We'll insert that into there, and we'll hang it off onto my vise for a second. We'll get more of this same dubbing, a little bit of a clump, and we'll kind of try to stack it a little bit like so, so that all the fibers are kind of running horizontally in my fingers as much as possible. And then we're going to grab this loop and start feeding some little clumps of this in here. 3 or 4 is usually good enough, something like that. And then we'll give that a twist. Just twist all that dubbing up and make a shaggy little rope. And then we'll just start spinning that on there. And as we get closer to the bead, we'll start kind of forcing all of these fibers backwards out of our way. And then we'll tie that off with a few wraps. And snip. Now I want to pull all these back here. There we go. Now before we whip finish, I'm going to give it a little bit of super glue just to make a really nice durable head. I do this on a lot of my flies, and I never have my whip finishes come undone. So we'll just couple wraps, and then we'll do like about a 2 or 3 turn whip finish. The whip finish here really is just to hold everything together until the glue dries. Whoop, that actually came undone. Now, last step on this is to just take some Velcro and pick this all out, and what you'll see is we've made kind of a nice translucent veil over that body, and that's just gonna pulse and move around all over the place and just give us that really nice leechy shape. It can bounce around and everything else. And that's it. That's the fly. So let's talk about how we fish the fly. Hey guys, I'm not great with graphics, so I drew it a little bit. I fished these a lot with an indicator. So here would be your indicator, and then we would drop just the leech off of it. If I know the fish are going to eat the leeches, I'll fish it like this pretty often. My depth, I'm always going to start as shallow as I think I can get away with, and then just keep lengthening up by 6-inch intervals until I find where the fish will eat it. So that's a really basic way. And then in this instance, I have a dropper, and sometimes I'll have a chironomid or something right here, or even like a Calabatus nymph or something, Guide's Choice Hair's something like that, where the fish are suspended eating the smaller bug. But having this down at the bottom will still pick up some fish, but what it'll also do is it'll weigh my rig down and keep my flies in a little bit more contact with the indicator. Same kind of deal here. I'm messing with the weight or the depth until I find where they're at. I always try to keep this as shallow as possible while I'm catching fish, because I just feel like you have a better hookup rate and better, I guess, strike detection if your flies are closer to your indicator. I almost always fish balanced leeches and indicators if I'm fishing lakes from shore. If I switch that up and I'm out on my tube, my kick boat or whatever, I'm a lot more likely to maybe fish it on a sink tip or like a midge tip or something. So I'll have my midge tip all the way down here at the bottom. I'll have my balanced leech. That's going to be the anchor point of my whole rig. And then I'll have at least one, maybe two droppers, depending on local laws and stuff, with bugs that I think the fish are eating. So anyways, if you guys want me to do a little bit more of this, how I fish these flies sometimes, also leave that in the comments. Other than that, it was fun tying that fly. I'm going to try to start making weekly tying videos and maybe bi-weekly fishing videos for the summer. So anyways, thanks for watching. See you next time.